people, and I love English people too, and I really want this to not be an attack on the English people. I just want them to get a bit of a grasp for what it's like for a foreigner coming here. There are certain like really obvious social just little features that exist in every other culture apart from in English culture. It's an inherent suspicion or an inherent kind of being emotionally closed, and I just want to kind of put a message out.
Okay. Yeah. Shall I roll?
Yeah.
My name's David Noel Quinn. I was born in Dublin, in Ireland, in 1970. Left Ireland in 75 to emigrate to Australia with my family, and effectively grew up in Australia and came back to England in 1986. I've never been back to Australia since. I've been back to Ireland quite a few times, but effectively made England my home since 86. I don't think people can tell I'm a foreigner until I speak, in most instances. Obviously, once I speak, they either think I'm Australian.
G'day, Nikos.
Pretty wild bunch, hey? Well, you know, it's no lie.
Or on the odd occasion, Irish, because I've got a tiny bit of an Irish tweak, I think, to my voice. So as a result of that, I always empathise with people who do stand out as foreigners straight away before they speak, because it's quite a difficult place to come to, England as it is, let alone when you're perceived as an outsider, I think from the start.
Okay, so I'm Josep Munoz, coming from Barcelona. I am 27 years old, and I'm working at the Westfield College now. It's my second year working on the media production department. I'm working closely with the staff on the course and the students, providing that the students with the special needs, they have like their extra support that they need to achieve, like the learning outcomes and their proper potential. Always having a new start, it's difficult and a little bit complex. Even though that I had thought like several times what to do, where to go, I always thought that England, it was a good place to go. And also I was really supported. In my case, when I came to the country, I had someone backing me up, giving me a place to stay for the first month, which always it's a good thing, because it gives you the extra energy, because you feel supported from day one. It's not like taking a plane and arriving to the country and not having nothing, even to a place to stay. So in my case, the opportunity of coming to the UK, it came thanks to different factors and knowing different people. And when I had the chance, I just felt supported. And the first thing that people said to me, it's like, okay, if you want to try up, just come up and we will give you a place to stay. We're not able to give you a job, but at least it's something to you to have your first step here in the country.
My name's Kathy, and I come from Zambia, which on the map of Africa is kind of central southern Africa. But my parents, I'm obviously of mixed origin. My dad was English from London, and my mum was South African. and they met in Zambia, and that's where I was born. My parents got married in the 60s, and although when I was growing up in Zambia it was a very mixed and multicultural society, when they got married, they were the first mixed race marriage in Zambia, in Lusaka, which is the capital city, so much so that their wedding actually made the newspaper headlines. I went to an international school, and there literally was kids from all over the world. That part of Africa that I grew up in, there's a lot of people that work for big multinational companies and stuff. So it was nice. It was a very nice way of growing up, because colour just was not an issue to us as kids growing up at all. There was no issues there. So it was nice. It was a nice way to live. One of the things that I found is that a lot of English people that have travelled, lived abroad, say schooled abroad, or genuinely lived abroad, they become like us, like foreign people. They get us, and they become more open and more, I suppose the word would probably be less suspicious, less cold. It's quite interesting because you have to have lived here quite a long time to realise that English people are or come across, I should say, as quite cold and quite suspicious from the off. It's like an immediate reaction. It's the first vibe you get when you come here of what people are like.
Yeah, I do think England can be an unfriendly place to foreigners, maybe not necessarily intentionally, but I think because England is such an established country, it's an ancient culture in some respects, a very wealthy country in its day, possibly the most powerful country in the world. Other countries tend to look towards England, so other cultures tend to look towards English culture more than English culture looks toward them.
When you were born in another place and you have had like several years in that country, you have your basic culture, your basic style that it's from another place. And even though that you take the culture, you take things from the British side of the world, which is a really good thing, at the end I think that there's always a small bit of you that it's going to be representative of the part that you are coming from. I've seen it all. I don't say that all English people it's reserved and closing each other, because if all the people was like that, I was not going to be here. But on the other side, when now that I'm in the country and I'm facing new people and meeting new people, I see all the time this situation. I found people that they are really open and they speak to you like directly, and that's fine. But then there's other people that you find that they are not as open as other people could be.
I'm Andy Guy. I'm from Indiana in, of course, the United States. I'm a music producer, basically, and I teach some classes here at the college. The thing, there wasn't anything major because, American culture has its origins in English culture since it was originally an English colony. So much of the culture is the same. So it wasn't that much to get used to. So it wasn't that much of a stretch. The main thing I noticed really is just little things, and just driving on the opposite side of the road is the most opposite obvious one, but slang I can't get. I use it wrongly. If I'm trying to use British slang, for the most part, I'm not that great with it, and I still don't understand what some of them mean. But the main parts of the culture are very similar, so it wasn't that much of a shift for me. Prior to immigrating, I was always very interested. Most of the music I listened to was British bands. So I was already aware, and in lyrics, you can't help but express your own culture. So if I'm listening to British bands, I'm listening to British culture. So I don't know, there wasn't anything major to adapt to, I guess, other than the love of fancy dress parties. That's a bit weird. As an adult, I was done with costumes a long time ago, but everyone's really big about wishing people happy birthday. That wasn't a big deal in America, but it's very big here. I've not felt treated any differently, really. I mean, the only thing about, I guess, me and an American culture is that we're very blunt and to the point, and that sometimes comes across as a little bit rude over here. I don't know. I'm not generalizing, but I seem to get the impression that if they have a problem with someone, they don't tend to necessarily and to tell that person, "Hey, you did me wrong." They will dance around the subject. It's a read between the lines sort of thing, or an implication. As a result, sometimes things that I will say, people will think I'm implying something else. I was like, no, if I meant that, I would have said that. That's more of people not being rude to me or treating me differently, I think, other than the fact they might have thought that I was trying to be rude, which I wasn't. But it's more of me, I think, offending others instead of the other way around. Or there's the feeling that an immigrant will never fully embrace a culture that they've gone to. And I do and I don't agree with that, at least for my own self. I don't know about someone else, but you can't abandon your original culture completely. Otherwise, that's a part of who you are. That's how you've established. That's an influence of your development as that culture. If a country is good enough to grant you legal permission to live and work and reside, then you damn well better make an effort.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on, like the Brexit and what's going to happen with the Europeans that we are living here. And I'm still feeling fine. I'm still feeling good, and I will not change that opportunity that I had to come here for nothing.
Something for the vagabond man over my dead body. Something big is gonna happen over my dead body.
Where are you from, and what is it that you do?
Wait, do as in what, the college? My name is Karolis Vaitkevičius. I was born in Lithuania, but then when I was 9 years old, I moved to Portugal, and I lived there for another 8 years, I think. So I came here to UK when I was 17 years old, and I've been here ever since. Currently, I'm studying performing arts in West Suffolk College, and I'm loving it. I know that British people have a perception of Lithuanian people and how they're like, basically Eastern European people. They think they're all drunk alcoholics who just vodka. Well, I personally think I'm not that. As for British people, I don't know. Since I've been in Lithuania, Portugal, and now UK, I've gotten along with 3 different kinds of people in schools and whatever. I just can't see that much of a difference. I think people try to be very accepting of foreign people, as in, oh, he's foreign, but it's okay, I won't think of him any different just because he's foreign. But in reality, in their subconscious, they still have a different opinion about them. But personally, I just don't feel affected by anything, because I just don't care. Yeah, I live here in England, but I don't really feel as if I'm at home here. I feel like I'm just here to study, while in Portugal is the place I've spent most of my most of the years I've been able to think better. I've been more grown up there. I feel very much at home there because I've left lots of friends there. Here in Britain, it's just, I'm just here. My friends are great, but as in home, I don't find it home.
England has been great to me in many ways, but in terms of fitting in or wanting to fit in with the culture, no is the answer to that. Yeah, the positives are huge for sure, absolutely for sure. One would be obviously education. The other one would be in my experience, the level of professionalism. My industry be a good example. There'd be very little work for me outside of possibly a country like England or the States for the level of engineering and stuff like that in my business, so that's fantastic. And at their best, the English are probably almost as good as it's possible to get.
The difference is we're just like open books. What you see is what you get. The English people are very reserved and they keep that closed, which is kind of nice in a way. You appreciate it the longer you've lived here, because the more, if you take the time to get to know people, that surface then sort of dissipates, and then you get to realize what they're like. And they are, in more cases than not, they are very much like us and they get us. It's just quite funny that you have to go through some layers to get there, whereas with a lot of us, like I say, it literally is a case of what you see is what you get.